knowing that you're working with credible people, that their working deliverables were on your standard, and then broaching it through communication in different ways. And it takes time. It really takes time.
Hi. I'm Pooja Marva from CRI. Actually, the topic that you're talking about, leadership, is really something that we've sort of, in the civil society sector, I think is very dear to us. I think one point that I heard you making is really about saying that you would love to be able to see someone from who started off in your organization who sort of sitting in the CEO seat. And in CRI, for example, I started as a very junior coordinator. Today, I head the organization. And the credit that I think it is to the organization. And the point I'm making, I think, is that human resources, leadership development need to be focused on in every sort of organization and institution. And in civil society, we have a wide variety of leaders. So we have people at the grassroots who may not be able to make great presentations, but are probably more significant leaders in how they're able to lead the dispossessed, and they're able to sort of make a difference to people's lives. So I think there's a gamut of sort of leadership and leadership development. And one of the things that we find as an NGO is that we find it, interestingly, very difficult to persuade corporates to partner such efforts. So it's almost like in the NGO sector, you don't need to invest into leadership or HR. You know, it's seen as a sort of indulgence, you know. And even us in the NGO sector tend not to focus on ourselves, because the entire focus is on your stakeholder, on your, you know, you're saying, I want to do things out there. How can I possibly allocate resources? So I think I keep thinking that, how do you expect a body to do work if the body is not healthy? You know, if as organizations we haven't invested into leadership, into what I say, kick-ass HR systems, kick-ass finance systems, if we don't have those, then we really cannot be credible. You know, so this is really something that, I mean, I am so glad that the topic has come in this context, because we seem to think leadership is something we talk about only in an HR corporate context, but we don't. It's something that we're going to need. You know, I was complaining once at an international forum to the INGOs, saying that you steal our people. And they looked at me and they said, we want leaders from the South. And we are going to steal your people. You know, we are going to find leaders who can represent the South in this world. So, I mean, that's just the point that I wanted to make more than a question.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bharat. Here.
Can I comment on that?
You want to? Yeah. Just a minute, Bharat.
Sure.
Okay, I just want to make two comments to that. I love the way you said, how can you expect a body to be, okay. So that is not only as an individual, but an entire body of an organization or as a company, okay. If the bodies inside aren't happy, then the big body is not going to work properly. But I always say to my team, I say to them, I employed you so that I didn't have to do your job. So become creative, become the leader in your department, make it happen, make suggestions. I may not say everything, you know, yes to everything, but come out there and make it happen. And your second point about how corporate don't expect the nonprofit to be doing HR and all of leadership and everything, I blame the nonprofit world. Nonprofits are not always run in the way that they should be run. If you don't take yourself seriously, neither will they. When you walk into my offices, you could be in a corporate. We have desks, it looks exactly like any other business. We take ourselves seriously. We are in business. We are in the business of service. We service our donors and we service our beneficiaries. Pricewaterhouse do our audit. We report twice a year to every donor. We have proper financial systems that are run on a business level. If a donor has to call me in the morning and say to me, Kim, I have to report to our AGM this afternoon, can you pull me financials? We go to our system and we pull off every donation or every expenditure that we've made from them every year. If the nonprofit world see you as being serious, they will take you more seriously.
Yeah. I had Tanya who wanted to respond to Pooja also, so I'll give her.
Just a small point on that, a reflection really. I think there's a huge opportunity in terms of shared value partnerships between NGOs and corporations if they kind of start thinking out of the box, because usually what I experience is that there's this exchange of values and money. So the NGO looks at this company as, you know, oh, here we can get our bag of money, and the company looks at the NGO and says, wow, here we can borrow some of those meaningful values. And that's kind of the deal. But what I think could be worthwhile exploring is these so-called shared value partnerships. So why not enter into partnerships with companies that share some of the values that you as an NGO have? And instead of asking for money, why not ask for their skills? They are into volunteering. Now they're starting to look into skilled volunteering. Why not, for example, partner up with them on a leadership development program? They have a lot of these facilities, they have the infrastructure, they have the programs, and maybe that would, in fact, add more value in the long run for the social mission that you're working with. So just a thought.
Can I add one?
Yeah, sure.
Just to add, there are companies who specialize in this. I don't know if any of you know Brayton Company, or sorry, Bain and Company. Okay, Bain do not give money. They give their specialty, and they will come in. So we've got Mandela Day, which is a one day where every company is out volunteering. And we had Bain and Company in our office to do strategy. They called me to say, can we come in and do strategy for Tomorrow Trust? So that's a very, very important point.
6 weeks. So Bain actually did a 6 weeks project
Amazing.
on the scale of a professional project, where they helped us look at fundraising strategy and what we should do. And it was just, like you said, far more phenomenal for us, you know, than maybe if they had given us money.
Yeah.
The money's always welcome.
Sure.
Thank you. I had one question
Yep.
here, and I think this will be the last one because we have one presentation after this from Simone. She is the Director of Corporate Social Responsibility at Sanofi, and then we have another panel discussion. So I will end the panel with this last question.
Thank you, Bharat. To the point Kim made, I was in the corporate world until September last year. I spent about 17 years. I always tell my team, well, on the first day of the induction, probably maybe unpopular, but I always created world-class teams. I tell them that you're not doing a favor by working for the organization. The organization is not doing a favor by employing you. So that's the first step. Coming back to what Tanya said is purpose. What is the purpose of you being here in this organization? So there's a purpose. I used to say that the purpose of all our existence is the business. So when you know the purpose, I think leaders or HR managers or even the managers in the corporate world are not responsible for the happiness of their employees. So you cannot be responsible for the happiness of an individual. Happiness of an individual comes from within. Only the individual themselves can be happy. Unless and until they understand the purpose of them being there, and then they understand what is that brings them there. I think as a manager or a leader, what we should do is to actually expose them to the purpose and make them understand why they are there, and then they're being paid for that. Meaning even in a non-profit organization, there's a small, it's not like a corporate, but even in a non-profit organization, some of the employees are paid. So there is a fixed amount of money that is being paid for the amount of work that we require. Anything over and above is a relationship, and the person, individual is responsible for them being happy or not. If they are not happy, they should move on and find happiness elsewhere. What's your comment?
Well, well, I agree and I disagree. Because I agree, the business of business is business and will be so, you know, as long as we live. But the point is that how you stay in business, the rules of how to run a business are changing. So when we talk about purpose, sure, companies must make money, they must make a profit. That's a part of their purpose. But employees don't go to work and jump out of bed and say, woo, now we're going to go today and double our shareholder value. That doesn't make them tick. What makes them tick is a purpose that goes beyond profit. And that's what we're seeing right now, is because, you know, at the end of the day, it's about business, as you very correctly say. And lots of surveys show us now that the key to business success is committed and engaged employees, particularly in knowledge industries, knowledge and service industries. So if you want to commit them and if you want to engage them, then you have to address some of these needs, these more intangible soft needs that they have. So sure, we are all responsible for our own happiness, and so are the individual employees. But I do think that companies, since they, you know, they are taking away so many hours, days, weeks, months, years of our lives, I do think they have a responsibility in terms of creating a setting, a work environment where it is possible to find work-life balance and happiness, because in the end, it will give a result on the bottom line.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would you like to say something? The view from the Oval Office on this?
Well, I think you're absolutely correct. The two are not mutually exclusive. And indeed, whereas, of course, you are not, happiness of the worker or the employee or individual is not your prime responsibility. All the purposes are engaged and magnified when there's more positive feeling. But what I might add is one way to develop, you can call it happiness or you can call it fulfillment, is to continue to train those individuals, to give them leadership roles and to teach them how to be leaders. So it comes full circle to what we started saying today, is that even employees, if they are growing and becoming leaders, they are happier and the companies are more productive.
I personally feel that the work-life balance is a mistake, so that the corporates are trying to push. Work and life are not different. Work is part of your life. You spend majority of your time inside an office. There's a purpose for that. And then we should make it, so the way the HR is projecting work-life is they are splitting work and life separately. They think life is cooler, work is hard. No. I feel it's part of your life. All of it is cooler. I think that's the mantra that should go forward, that will make employees happier and feel part of work as part of their life, which it is already.
And if work is part of your life, then obviously it would make sense to be in a workplace that has values that match your own values, so you don't need to go to work, take off your values coat, put it on, you know, and then go to work, and then you put back your values on when you go home. So, yeah.
Thank you. We will end this panel discussion now, and thank you very much to the panelists for a very engaging discussion and putting some very valuable thoughts out for the audience. And thank you, audience, for being so engaged. Thank you very much.